Welcome to Thought Hack.
I art's important. I love music. I love infinite. And now, like, what if I don't feel like? Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Thought Hack. Really quick, I want to thank our sponsors: Blue Microphone, Catalyst Case, Senstroke, and Wildhorn Outfitters. I've been campaigning to have this friend of mine come on the show for a while. I've been working through her manager / husband.
Reggie is too much. Reggie is too much.
So I'd like to welcome to the show Magda Civil.
Thanks
for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Reg. It's always a pleasure to sit down and talk to you.
I was joking with Rob. I was like, they got the plaque. They Hollywood now. They hit me with the Hollywood.
And it's no Hollywood, Reg. You know how it is being busy, a mom, an entrepreneur. Definitely. It's a lot of work. So.
It's all of that's dope. Like every time I look at your page, and it's like it's really cool to be inspired by a friend of yours and someone you know, and especially since I've known you since before the YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
And you still on the health stuff. Even at the other apartment when it was coming through and we was plotting on different things, you was still on the health kick. You was still giving tips and everything. So to see your growth from then and now is it's been amazing.
Yeah, and seeing you too. I love seeing the progression. Like you're saying, it's good to have people around you that you can see them elevate in different levels in life and not just stay stagnant. So it's good to see that. The same thing with you and your family and everybody's doing, what you need to do to progress. So to me, it's awesome to see that.
I was going to go into the mom thing first.
Okay.
Right? So it's congratulations. I'd still consider you a new mom, right? It's been a little bit, but I'd still consider you a new mom.
Right.
And you're figuring things out. And the crazy thing about being a parent is as soon as you have a kid, you realize your parents had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everybody's like kids just raising kids, I feel like, because I'm just like, I'll sit up and I'm like, am I fucking my kid up? Am I, you know what I mean?
No. I try so hard and I think about the things every time, I think every parent try to, or they want to do it better than their parents, because to a certain degree, we all deal with some type of, struggle when it comes to our parents, or some parenting skills that our parents had that we wasn't really too fond of. We try not to make those same mistakes with our children. So for me, I'm just trying to be mindful when it comes to Paige, and just pay attention to her, see what she likes doing, see what she enjoys doing, and just try to implement that more to her lifestyle. And it's just so weird because I see her progressing so much faster. She's picking up things. Even when it's at 18 months, I took her to the doctor and she had to do her checkup. And I said, what's so funny when it comes to Paige? She confuses her colors, purple and blue. And he just looked at me like, there's no way she's learning colors at such a young age. Mm-hmm. But she has, a drive or hunger to want to learn. And I see that. And I just try to encourage her to want to be
just
herself.
Absorb everything. And her having you guys as parents and you guys, because I see when you guys are out and you're working out in the morning. Sidebar, I'm watching your workout videos in bed. I'm in bed damn. I'm like, damn, I'm wilding right now. I need to get my life together. But you guys are working out and Paige is there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
She's watching you guys and your lifestyle. She's going to come up with parents that are hardworking and discipline. I think that's a important thing to pass on too. Yeah. Is that something you kind of just developed over time, or is that something you just always had?
That's a good question. I can say having a level of discipline. Yeah, I've always had it. But when it comes to that structure, we've definitely developed that over time. Yeah, seeing how our bodies react to the lifestyle is just now I'm starting to see, all right, I have to do, it's like taking a shower. It's like brushing your teeth. At first, when you're a kid, I don't feel like brushing my teeth. I don't want to take a shower. I don't want to wash up. But after a while, you start to realize how uncomfortable you feel if you don't brush your teeth or you don't wash up, things like that. So just like we have the discipline to wash up and everything, the same thing, just have to work out, have to eat well, healthy lifestyle. It just becomes a habit after a while.
Honestly, I'm disciplined with everything else, but I think it's because of everything else has like money attached to it. Like I'm doing this and that. I know if I'm meticulous and I stay on top of that, X amount is going to materialize. With my body, I feel like I more so need like accountability partners. So it was different when like Ralph would be like, yo, stop being lazy. Come on, son. Like, you know what I mean? Once I've kind of been just left to my own devices, I'm just going to revert back to the old habits, because even though I feel like working out made everything better and easier as far as working and doing the entrepreneur thing, like I just always felt great and so on and so forth. Once you fall into the work habits and so on and so forth, and you're just eating bullshit because you're running around and you're trying to get stuff done and you're not really meal prepping and so on and so forth, it just kind of undid everything. I almost feel like it was like worse to work out and then stop than just never work out.
Yeah, it is worse because you can't find the momentum anymore. So you're just trying to find that momentum to incorporate that into your busy schedule. And the thing is, like, I think we've been conditioned the wrong way to feel like it's a nuisance or a chore to get up and exercise or eat right, because it's so convenient to go down to the store. Like they make it convenient for us to have this junk food. And at the end of the day, to me, I look at it like it's not about the convenience of having, like, you know, you have a busy schedule. It's more so about health at the end of the day. And I feel like you're not the only person that goes through this. Most people, you know, have busy schedules. They're trying to find a way to eat healthier. The only thing I can say is make food, buy stuff that's easier for you to prepare at home, like ground turkey, stuff like that, if you are quickly on the go. And if you're not, hire a chef that can meal prep for you and help hold you accountable.
Well, I mean, that's easier for you to say to me, but like not everyone could just be like, yo, let me just go hire a chef. This is rough.
Yeah, but then even not you hire, like they have affordable people that is out there that's going to like meal prep. Not, yeah, like you say, not everybody can hire a chef that's going to.
Sidebar. Talking about hiring a chef. Ralph told me the chef story, bro. It's hilarious.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, just it's different ways to make it easier. Because the thing is, we try to make up a whole bunch of excuses to why. What's so funny, Reg? Well, Ralph.
Because it's almost not just Ralph, but like as we're talking about it, I'm almost like, oh, Mag is somewhere else now. Mag is like, nah, just go hire a chef. Nah, it's like, nah, it's cool. Just hire a personal chef if you.
No, not like that. Because the chef that when it comes to meal prep, like, okay. Even when you're hiring, like you work for like a meal to go service or whatever, they are chefs.
Yes.
It's just that we're not thinking that they're chefs, but they are chefs. They just go, what is it, like $150?
Like Go Fresh and all that other stuff.
Yeah, it's $150 every week. If you're not gonna go grocery shopping and you feel like your food is gonna go bad, I might as well just pay the $150. That's that meal.
But I think with Go Fresh or whatever it is, you have to prepare because I've gotten the boxes and everything. You have to prepare the food. They just put the stuff in the recipe in there. And you have to.
Not really Go Fresh, like for like a meal prepping service. Like there's some restaurants you go to, you can hire them to meal prep for you as well. Like you can go in and they'll pay you like they'll charge you $150 for like a certain amount of meals or etc. So it's just more about thinking about budgeting. If budgeting is an issue, if pricing is an issue, it's just more so thinking about what am I willing to sacrifice to make sure that I'm getting the most out of my health. Because sometimes we make up excuses, I can't do this. No, you really can't, because if you went to the doctor's office right now and they told you, hey, you got high blood pressure, high cholesterol, now all of a sudden you got the money. Now all of a sudden you realize you can make these changes. Yeah. So now it's just more so thinking like, okay, I don't want to get to that point for me to make these healthy choices. Why not do it now?
Because, I mean, you're right. It's probably more expensive to wait to get sick.
Yeah, it is more expensive. Like I said, hospital bills aren't cheap. Prescription isn't cheap. So it's like it's all about weighing out your options. Which one are you willing to just take? Oh,
so I went and there was to be honest, I could afford it at the time, but I was just being lazy because there was a whole bunch of other stuff going on. So I had let my health insurance lapse because the kids and I'm not gonna go into that, but
Yeah.
they were good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I guess of whatever Obama situation. So as
Okay.
long as their mom is covered, they're like
Good with it.
basically.
Okay.
So I let my insurance lapse because I was just like, I'm not a big fan of the premiums. I'll just like give it a couple of months and I'll get to it when I get to it.
Right.
Unfortunately, in that like 4-month period of just BSing and just not getting to it, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna call my agent. I'm gonna take care of it, but like I never called anybody. I started to feel pain in my side. Went to St. Barnabas and I thought like I was just gonna be in and out, and it was actually like my appendix. So like I literally went in there like, all right, can we hurry up? Because I got like an appointment I got to go take care of. And they're like, yeah, you can't leave because if it explodes in you, we need you to like sign a waiver to say that we told you not to leave and because you might die and all this. Now I'm just like, oh, fuck. So I have the surgery and that was like, I think I ended up having to pay like somewhere around like $10,000 cash. And that was like, because I was just like, oh yeah, I don't have insurance, I'm just going to pay cash. They were like, oh, okay, then we're going to change the price. Because I think they were going to charge the insurance company somewhere closer to like $30,000 for the surgery.
Oh, wow.
And because I was paying cash, they were like, oh, no, we're not going to charge you that. That's like the insurance price. Like just, it's going to be like $10,000. I was just like, oh, fuck.
Wow.
Like,
That's crazy.
that's wild.
I'm glad that you're, that you definitely went to the hospital. Like you said, if it would have exploded.
I wasn't going to go. Like, my sister was nagging me and I was just like, and then it got to the point where anytime I moved just a little bit, it was just like this sharp pain. Like it just got to the point where I couldn't hold it off any longer.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God that you did the right thing. Yeah, stuff like that is scary, Reg. And like we're getting older. We're at a stage where we're getting older. Some people think that you could do the same thing that you used to do when you were 18, 12, whatever. It doesn't work that way. Our bodies changes. We have to adapt with, the changes that our bodies are making. So eating the same way that we once did when we were children, it just doesn't, it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't.
I mean, I'll be honest, when I was working out religiously with like Ralph and Cuba, I think we was going like 2-3 days a week. I was probably in the best shape of my life, even because I think I was like maybe, how long ago was that? Like maybe 2 years ago? Like I think I was like 30 or 31. I was in the best shape of my life.
Right. See?
Yeah.
And you felt good.
And I felt great.
I don't know why. It's Reg, I don't know what it is in our heads. Like even I have the problem. Sometimes having to get up and go work out. Sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. After I get it done, I'm like, I'm glad I went because
of course.
I feel 10 times better.
And then the door, like I always felt amazing afterwards. I always was happy that I went and so on and so forth. And then working out religiously kind of made me change the way I eat because I know how I felt going into the workout, eating a certain way.
Yeah.
I remember I went up there and I had like 2 slices of pizza and I went to work out with Ralph. And then I think I told Cuba and Ralph that I had 2 slices of pizza, which made them go like even harder on me because like, I don't know, they're sadists or something.
Nah, that's the worst thing.
I felt disgusting.
Yeah, like that's one of, especially when it comes to training, like what you eat makes the difference in the world. One time I went and I had some Chinese food and I'm like, it's not going to make a difference. I'm just go train and work out. My energy sucked. Like I had no energy in whatsoever. And that's the reason why, because our bodies work off our macronutrients, which is the vitamins and minerals that we need to function properly. So there's not much vitamins and minerals in that like Chinese food. It's just more so
you're
processed.
going to have the Chinese food people come after you.
No, I mean, it's fun food. That's what it is. It's junk food. It's fun food. It's stuff that we eat, just for fun. But it's not food that needs to be in our everyday, diet or how we eat. It's not that type of food. So you have
I know people that eat Chinese food like every day, like that's their, like they eat it every day.
Oh my God, it's scary. I don't want to come off like I'm judging people because I'm not. Everybody's financial situation is different, and then habits is another thing too. Like you start to get addicted to the ingredients. You want to eat this stuff. Like it's so much that goes into
I'm
it.
sure buying Chinese every day is more expensive than just going grocery shopping. Is it like?
Yeah, it is if you break it down. Yeah, absolutely. It
Because
definitely is.
there's like this I don't know if it's a myth or what's going on, but they're saying it's cheaper. Well, in a lot of ways it is. It's cheaper to eat bullshit than it is to go out and eat healthy. Like I think everybody automatically looks at whole food as like, oh no, that's too expensive.
It really isn't. It's not cheaper because you're eating more because you're eating junk. You're getting hungry. Those are empty calories. There's no, again, vitamins and minerals in it. So you could eat like a bag of chips, 25 cents, 50 cents. I don't know how much they charge now. I know the prices went up. And then you get hungry, you eat some other junk. That stuff accumulates, and then you eating all these calories, and you thinking that it's cheap. But by the end of the day, you done spent $20 on a whole bunch of junk because that has empty calories. And now you thinking that is less expensive than actually going to Whole Foods. You get some ground turkey, $6. You get you some potatoes, that's what, another $4, and you get some vegetables, $3. That's enough to like make at least 2 meals out of it for that day, which is, to me, is more beneficial than just not doing the right thing and just buying junk and thinking that it's cheaper. It really isn't. I tested it one time.
You did.
I tested it one time, and I was like, let me see what's going on. So I went to, I forget where did I go. I went to, I think it was Wendy's or something like that. I said, let me see what everybody keeps saying, that it's cheaper to buy all this, to buy. It's cheaper to buy out, and it's more expensive to buy things at Whole Foods. So I went, got the stuff at Wendy's, and I'm like, yo, this is expensive. $20 just for 2 meals. I was like, this is not. I just couldn't believe how much money it takes to just buy junk food. And for me, it's like, why everybody keeps saying it's so expensive? I think it's just people, we just get so accustomed to, not cooking or knowing how to cook. And it's just so many excuses, I think, that we make to not do the right thing.
You're a monster in the kitchen also, like, which is a great segue, because I don't really get those invites to come through and eat anymore. Yo, that turkey you had cooked at one time, I think was the best turkey I ever had in my life.
What turkey? What?
I remember I came through because we was doing the podcast, and I think we was waiting on Link or something. And Ralph was like, yo, by the way, like, we just cooked this turkey breast. We let it marinate for like 2 days or something.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, cool. So, like, I took a piece of turkey breast. I was like, oh, that was delicious. Like,
Okay.
did you invite me to just sample this so I could go and eat some bullshit? Like, you're just upsetting me.
Reggie, you know, you're always welcome, but for the most part, it's like when it comes to our meals, it's like we always prep them and
then that salmon burger, and then that steak you made one time, bro.
Yeah.
It's upsetting to think about.
Yeah, but I mean, Reggie, it's just a lot when it comes to living a healthier. It's about making certain sacrifices just to eat well.
I would rather y'all never had given it to me, because now I just have to go back out into the world and just eat bullshit.
No, you have to learn how to cook and prepare your own meals. That's what it's about.
I'm a hire chef.
I don't understand. Like, you have the cultural background, the Haitian background. You go ahead and marinate your food. It's no different. We all do things the same. Marinate
I don't know.
Put it to the side.
Maybe it's a bullshit
work.
excuse. I don't feel like I have the time.
It is an excuse.
Yeah.
You have
It
the
probably is.
time. It's
I don't
just
have a lot of
You
time,
just don't
though.
want to allot the time to do it.
Maybe. That might be it.
You don't want to allot the time. Like, we all have the time. Because, Reg, I'm telling you right now, God forbid it would have been worse when, in terms of your appendix. It could have been worse. Your body is the only house you have to live. You can't move out of it. So it's just more so
That was
about
deep.
thinking about the choices that you make to make sure that you take care of yourself the way that you need to. God willing, if you want to live to your 80s, your 90s, you want to make sure you take care, the best care you can possible of your body.
I don't know. I think about that. I don't, like, I want to live till I'm old, but not like, when you're like so old that you just like you can't really do shit. You just kind of, I don't know. That's
Okay.
like that was a dark
I used
path
to
it was gonna go down.
I used to work in a nursing home, and I used to look at all these old, like around 16. I used to look at the elderly and think like, Dad, how did you get here? Like, what did you do? I used to ask them all types of questions, like, what type of life choices did you make to end up in a wheelchair? And this one woman, she was the only one that was walking around. She was 90. She was lucid. I was like, how did you do it? Like, what makes you different from everybody here? She's like, well, I wake up every morning and I was a dancer, so I stretched and I did my thing and I always danced and I always watch what I ate. And I just think like, wow, like, you know how, to me, it was almost, I was seeing my future right in front of me. And the choices that I make now, I can either end up in a wheelchair or end up like some of these elderly, they can't eat for themselves. And they used to be just like us. It's just, sometimes we don't think about it that way, but
Yeah,
I
but
just looked at them and I said, you know what?
I don't know. I don't want to end up in a nursing home though. She was lucid, but she was still. I wouldn't wish a nursing home on anybody.
No. Not at all. But just more so looking.
I've never seen nice ones. Maybe there's nice ones, but the ones I've seen are like just.
Nah.
Oh man, it's
I
tragic.
agree. I wouldn't want to be there either. But just more so just looking at it from the perspective of just the elderly population and just having a whole like group of elderly and just being able to see the difference between them. You have some here that can walk, some that can't, some are lucid, some. It's just it's all in how we eat and how we take care of ourselves. So just, I guess it's more so thinking about it from that perspective. And I think like often we more so thinking about. So often people make choices or temporary fixes, thinking that it's a diet. It can't be a diet because diets are temporary. It's a lifestyle. Certain changes that we have to make.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, to make sure that we function properly. Everything is involved. Your brain, your hormones, sex, libido, everything is involved.
Yeah.
So it's like we want to be. How can like erectile dysfunction for men in our age group is more common now, but it's a sensitive topic that most men don't want to talk about. You know what I mean? Because
I would imagine they wouldn't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it, but it's like this is an issue, and you want to know what comes down to it. You going to the gas station, getting pills, and doing all this extra stuff.
Mac, know about the gas station pills.
It's like you can. It's more so diet and exercise. Sorry,
I will say, and like I'm not gonna go to TMI, but when I was working out, like
it changes a lot.
Yeah.
It changed a lot. I was
not just changing. Like I feel like my libido was like on a multiplier. Like after working out, I was just like, yo, like why am I so like amped up right now?
Yeah. Because from what I hear. Is more so about the testosterone levels. And I think, don't quote me, I may be wrong, but I believe that the your testosterone for men is mostly in your legs. So if you're training, you're working out, you're doing something that involves the legs, maybe that could be a reason why you're increasing like testosterone levels, and then it just gets you amped up.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just more so, I don't know, like paying attention to, I guess, like you said, whatever makes you feel good, just go ahead and do that. And sometimes it doesn't have to be boring. Like it could be activities that we enjoy doing, like boxing, dancing, fighting, whatever it may be. So,
going into the whole the business part of your life, and then the marriage part.
Right.
I've known you guys for a super long time, and I think the thing I enjoy most about you guys' relationship is how you guys feed off of each other. Is that something that, again, came naturally to you guys, or is that something you developed? I know, not to go too deep into, like, Ralph, but I know he's, like, super introspective. He's like me because we're constantly watching YouTube videos. We're constantly sharing different videos with each other and having these conversations.
Right.
So how much of that was like you guys just growing together? How much of that was Ralph, and how much of that was just naturally through like upbringing or whatever?
I would say it's a mixture of everything. I think it's more so just you really got me with that question, because I'm just really trying to pay attention because we've been together for so long.
Yeah.
And of course, as you I guess built a relationship with someone or bond with someone, you get to know them and you get to understand boundaries and you get to understand like just more so boundaries and just growing together as a couple. So I don't know if I answered your question saying that, but
Kind of.
it's just and I think like a lot of the stuff growing up, like his background and and mine's as well, it just made it easier, I guess, with the same views that we had. It just so happened that I don't know, we clicked, So.
Because I was explaining to him, we were having a conversation, a lot of the stuff that I think because we have, or the tools that we have, whether they're innate or they're learned or whatever, we just naturally assume everybody has them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true.
So you being introspective, you might think, well, everybody thinks this way.
Right.
But that's not really the case. A lot of people don't have those tools to really sit down and be like, okay, well, I'm contributing to this not working in my life, or I'm the reason why this isn't, or this is the reason it's that, and I got to change this or I got to change that. I feel like a lot of people sort of focus more so on external reasons or excuses as to why certain things can't happen. So in having conversations with Ralph where he'll be like, yo, but is it weird that I think? I was like, no, it's like, it's not. But you have to keep in mind that not everybody has those tools.
Right.
Him, you and him, but like him especially when we first met and where we're at now is like two completely different people.
Yeah, definitely. I could say a lot of that, especially when it comes to Ralph. He has taught me a lot throughout the relationship. I've grown a lot, being around him, just seeing how he move, and especially with him being like street smart. I've learned so much, I grew up sheltered, so just, again, it's a lot that I've learned being in a relationship with him. I say one thing that I did learn in our relationship that really stuck out to me. I never really paid attention to YouTube, Google, or anything like that. I always just thought that people were just naturally smart, or I just thought that, just you would have to go to college to obtain a certain knowledge, or maybe you just had to speak to a professional to obtain the knowledge. I never really for a second thought that, if I had a question, and I needed some answers, that I can do some deep research and find it out on my own. And through him, I realized that. And I'm like, well, okay, a lot of people in my area don't really think like that. Or a lot of people that I've come across don't really think like that. But he has a different mind, like when it comes to getting things done. And he's super obsessive. Like he's just like, whenever he thinks about something, he's just, I need to figure this out. And not just figure it out, I need to know it back inside out. Like I need to be well versed in this, because
I think that's one of the things I like most about him.
It's like I don't want to just misspeak, or I just want to make sure that I give you exactly what it is with no opinions involved. It's just straight facts. So that's one thing that I really picked up with in terms of him, just making sure that if I'm providing information, that it's not just my own like opinion, it's actually facts. So it's just.
So how does him being your husband and your business partner, because I feel like you guys have found like a balance. Now, I mean, nothing's perfect. I'm not saying, because from the outside looking in, everything looks lit, but I'm sure like, whatever. But you guys seem to have it figured out. How's that balancing like work stuff and marriage stuff?
Especially with kids now, it makes it a little bit more different. Like it makes it a little bit more difficult. But Ralph and I, we have an understanding that it's like we need to just get work done, just get it done. I don't think that sometimes I am in my emotions. I don't make it easy for him sometimes, and vice versa, you know what I mean? But it's just more so thinking like we both have an idea, we're working on a project and it needs to get done, and we're just we're motivated to get the project done.
Are you as obsessive?
Yeah, I am. I am when it comes to getting. Yeah, definitely. I am when it comes to getting work done, and it's just funny. It's interesting to see how we come together when it comes to ideas and things. Because Ralph, he could be certain. It's like a switch. Like we know how he can take lead in one area, and I can take lead, and we know how to like intertwine and switch, depending on what it is.
It's dope because I'll have a conversation with him and he'll tell me something you did, and I could see like the sense of pride where he's like, nah, and Mag edited that, like, you know, she's doing her thing and so on and so, like, it's dope to kind of see that dynamic in a relationship.
Yeah.
But at what point does like the work stop, like navigating it? Is it hard to switch between we're business partners and now we're married? Or I always wonder that. You ever watch that show Flip or Flop?
No.
I love that show.
No, I haven't watched it.
You should check it out. Okay. Well, they're divorced now. I don't know what happened, but I used to love that show. So I would watch the show and I would look at the couple. I'm like, oh, that looks fire, because they're flipping houses. They're a couple. They're married. They got kids. It seems like that's the dream. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're flipping houses. He's doing a lot of the stuff. She comes in. She's doing the design stuff. They're a team. They're making it work. And you're looking at that situation like, damn, like, you know, that's a keeper right there, until they get divorced, and you're like, damn, she's like,
what happened
with like, the contractor now? That's wild. That's wild.
It's just like any other relationship. I could just say, for one thing, it's like if you're in the home and you know your wife is good at one thing and you're good at another, it's like, or you know, when it comes to the kids, maybe she may do something, but you know, for whatever reason, she's not available, and now you have to step in. That's how I look at it when it comes to business too. It's like we just know how to just switch it on and off, and we just try to. It's not easy sometimes. It really isn't easy. It's just, and I'm trying to like articulate the words, and this is more so like with Ralph. He can easily just express when it comes to like exactly what it is that's going on in that moment, but. I really can't. I don't know, right? It just.
You probably don't sit around and think about this all day.
No, I really don't think about it, because to me, I think it's normal. I really don't know anything else, so I just my mind just really can't think about it any other way. I just more so look at it like I'm just helping out, because he's not only my husband, he's my friend. So I just look at it like. It's my friend, and we're working dope. Together. You know,
most people don't really like their significant other. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of people don't like their significant other.
Nah, yeah.
It's weird. It's just, man, people don't.
Yeah, I know, and it's challenging too. I think, I
think low key the craziest thing about the whole Corona situation is it makes you really live with your choices.
Right.
You know what I mean? With the whole Corona situation, you're faced with your life choices on like a level that you might not have been before. Because you could always leave. Like I'm married to a woman. Or I'm dating a woman. I could go out and sort of take my mind off of it. Or I live in a shitty house. I could, you know, go out, take my mind off of it. Like, you know, come home, sleep. Like, you know, I don't have to be in it. But with Corona, especially with the stay-at-home order or whatever, you're kind of, it forces you to be stuck with your choices.
Right.
If you don't like your house and you're stuck in your house, like you're feeling it right now. If you don't like,
most people don't want to take that, like you said, when it comes to your house or your household, the people that one may be around or whatever, it's so challenging, because I think it starts to turn the mirror to see, like, where do I need to focus on? Is it just this person or is it me? And then it's just so many layers. Like when it comes to relationship, it may not be just that problem. It's a deeper rooted issue. Like I had a conversation with my sister and we were talking about like getting upset. I said, everybody has the right to get upset at something. But then if I'm taking your water and I take a sip out of your water, and no disrespect, I thought it was my cup, you flip out. Why the you take my water? That is known. That doesn't like you. That's not a need for you to be that upset.
Yeah.
And if you're
there's
that upset,
levels.
yeah, there's something going on, and whatever that is, that deeper layer, you know. If it happened from childhood, you need to get to the root of that problem.
Maybe they need therapy or something.
Yeah, because if not, it's going to explode and it's going to get worse. So I think in a lot of ways, like even when it comes to dealing with emotion, whatever it may be, let me take a deep breath. When it comes to emotion, whatever it may be, it can be a deeper level to how we handle our emotions, and that needs to be, taken care of. Like, so, where did this why am I upset? I need to get. You have the right to be upset. You have the right to be disappointed, but to be that upset about something that simple, it's just like, We need to get to the root of that.
So how do you manage that? So say, for example, you're in wife mode, you're upset at your partner for whatever reason, you're pissed off, and now you have to work with this person.
Right.
Is it a switch that goes on and off, or how difficult is that?
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not a switch. It's more so me just having to realize, like, what's more important right then and there. Is it just me being upset, or is it us finishing what is something that we need to do to change our lives? And in that moment, I just had to just take a deep breath, and I'll be like, Ralph, just give me a few seconds. I need to collect myself. And some days I can't collect myself 100%. And he's like, all right, you want to parking lot it for later? I'm like, yeah, let's parking lot it for later, depending on how, crazy the situation may be.
Mm-hmm.
But, for the most part, I try my best to just stay in a place where it's like, I'll deal with that later, but right now this is more important.
So we're gonna go to work, and then I'm gonna be mad at you later.
Yeah, like let's deal with that later. But
That shows like a really dope level of like control over yourself, because not a lot of people could kind of like just flip that switch on and off.
I think you know what it is. I think like all of us as women, we do have it. I think it's just like you said, it's different levels to it, because I think every woman have a level of craziness to them. It's just that we have to learn how to like obtain it and just not go out of control. And learning how to control that craziness, I guess, helps that person to just compartmentalize when to explode and not to explode. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like I was rambling right there.
No, you weren't rambling. I kind of get it. I mean, I used to have kind of a temper, but I feel like I got a hold of it, or as I got older, I just stopped caring about a lot of stuff. So maybe I still have the same temper, but it just takes more to get me there. I don't know. I don't care about a lot now.
I think it's a level of self-awareness too. Sometimes we don't take accountability. Sometimes we're not really realizing how it's our fault in that moment, but sometimes it's just like, oh, I want to blame you because this is what. But then really, I never forget, one time Ralph and we had an argument, and I really do. I had, in terms of rejection, because of my dad and everything like that, I really, suffered with that. So I think it was something that was going on, and I said, well, I don't like the way you approach me, but this, and then he said something to me. I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. This is the problem, because I do have a problem with dealing with rejection in terms of that. And I had to be really self-aware and just like humble myself down and just not blame him 100%, even though he was responsible to a certain degree. But then I was responsible for my
he set something off, but you connected it to something else, and then it just kind of made it bigger.
Right, because it was more so me just understanding that the way I responded to him didn't merit, that wasn't worth, what he did wasn't worth me responding that nasty.
I get you.
Like, I could have held back, or I could have responded differently. I could have responded
It's
with
dope
more.
that you have a level of self-awareness where you could be like, all right, I was kind of off, and like, I'm gonna like take a look at that. A lot of people don't have that.
And definitely working on it. It's not easy, but working on it, because
I feel like too, coming in, because being raised as like Haitian, there are relationship dynamics that you pick up from your parents that are kind of, I guess, what's the word I would use? Old-fashioned. So navigating that and kind of tweaking that, because there were some tendencies I used to have, and maybe a little bit still have, that are kind of like, I don't know if you'd say like chauvinistic, or, I don't know.
okay.
But you work at that, you kind of pinpoint where you're like, okay, that I didn't really like that part of myself so much, so let me see if I can't like tweak that, or
Right. It's a lot, like you said, with our culture and how, and this is, even when it comes to dating at the beginning, it was a lot of things that I had to learn. Like, that's supposed to be for your husband and your partner, not because your parents are doing something. That's not, something that should be for your boyfriend and, somebody that you're starting a relationship. Because we're very hospitable in a lot of ways, and some people may take advantage of that, I guess, when it comes to, well, more so me growing up in a household with a whole bunch of girls. It's like, you cook, you clean, you do this, you make sure you. So it's more so about being super generous. And, when I'm younger, I'm thinking like, hey, I'd be this generous with my boyfriend. But that's not somebody that you should really give your all to. I think that should be something for your husband.
Yeah.
And I think it's just more so understanding.
But maybe you being so hospitable with your boyfriend is what got you the husband? Is that fun? Is that a weird way to think about it?
I don't know. I just think that there's certain things that we just don't need to just like
you're doing too much. Like
yeah, just doing too much. I think and there's certain boundaries that, I guess we need to understand to have, earlier on. I think I really can't go too much into detail just thinking about specifics, but yeah, it's just like I could more so think about it from like a level of for me, like, yeah, I could more so think about it from a level of like being taken advantage of because you are super hospitable, not only on just a relationship level, friendship level as well, because you can just do something for someone and they think that, hey, this person is being super nice to me and I didn't even do nothing to get this type of treatment. I could just treat them like crap or just continue my, just, I guess, normal behavior.
People do take things for granted.
Yeah, so for me, I just more so thinking about it from that perspective, just paying attention to that person and just not because you are taught with certain morals, you automatically give it to them. It's just more so paying attention to that person and just more so seeing where they at mentally and just, I don't know.
I didn't get a chance to tell you personally, but congrats on the YouTube plaque.
Thank you.
That was fire.
Thank you.
So that must have felt good.
Yeah, it did, definitely. Especially with going to YouTube space and everything like that. Yeah, it felt
and he showed me pictures from that. That looked fire.
Yeah, it's nice.
The gummies too. Congratulations on the success of that.
Thank
that
you.
went and that was fire. And to sort of keep up, because Ralph kind of gave me the heads up when he was doing it, and then he kind of kept me in the loop as far as the process.
Right.
So to see it from A to Z was really dope. How did it feel from your perspective with the whole process?
It was surreal going through it. It was just almost weird, surreal, because even now, even when I mention to other people, like, hey, we have a company, it's just like when it comes to close friends and family, they're like, what are you talking about, Magda? But from the outside perspective and people who are actually following the platform and been with us for a while, you're like, oh my God, it's just a big deal. You guys actually have your own company, you have your own manufacturer who's actually helping you build a brand. And for me, it just feels surreal because you never really look at it from a perspective of, hey, I'm actually, creating a supplement from scratch. I'm actually making sure high quality ingredients are going into this and actually just providing something that's going to give nutrients and help people to live a healthier lifestyle. So, yeah, it feels good.
And you're making money. I mean, you left the money part out. I was waiting for that.
Yeah, definitely. The money part, it's like you don't see anything in the earlier stages because everything is being reinvested into the company. So it's not like me saying that, we don't benefit. Yeah, at the beginning stages, you may be benefiting very little, but everything is going right back into the company. So
because I would say the feeling, and I don't wanna like focus too much on it because I'm very much about follow your passions, chase your passions, and everything else kind of comes with that. It just so happens that I'm passionate about making money.
right.
And what it represents to me, like money's a tool and money equals like freedom. I can have the freedom to do whatever I want and I'm not restricted by certain things.
Exactly.
The dope thing is coming from a place where you're told that, you're going to school, And there's nothing wrong with like someone deciding that they want to pursue a 9 to 5, whatever makes you happy or fulfilled or whatever. I'm not shitting on anyone.
Right.
But for you to go to a place where traditionally people with our backgrounds are, you go to school, you get a job, have kids, settle down, send them to school so they could get a job and do the same thing. It's kind of like this.
Yeah, cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you, and that was another thing too. For some reason, always growing up, and I think mostly everybody that I grew up with, my friends and everyone, we just always knew that we want to be in that cycle. And realistically, growing up, I always wanted to go to school, but it just so happened that I knew it wasn't realistic for me to being in a household of 5 sisters, and my mom was the sole income. Like, by the time I graduate college, I'm gonna come out with a freaking mortgage. How am I gonna afford to pay that? I can't even afford to buy myself a car, at that age. So it was just more so about making smarter decisions and trying to minimize debt as much as possible. And just thank God, everything just kind of fell into place.
Yeah,
it
worked
wasn't
out.
really like, we were trying, just so happened.
Well, I mean, I feel like you guys did a fair amount of trying and educating yourselves. It was like watching the progression and all that. Like, I would still give you guys a ton of credit because it's different when you're in school to like, I'm out here and I'm educating myself and I'm finding things out for myself and I'm trying to better myself, like, in a very like, non-traditional way.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't like, or I couldn't subscribe to the idea that I have to be in this cycle, and somewhere in the cycle I have to steal moments of like happiness. Like,
Right.
you work this miserable job, and I feel like being that we're in the United States and there's like, socioeconomic factors where it's like, yeah, they could raise minimum wage for people, and yeah, they could set things up in a way where, like, if you have a kid, you don't have to choose what parent gets to spend time with the kid. Like, men should get maternity leave, and there should be certain things that are just in place to have people have a better quality of living, but that's
Right.
not the case right now.
Exactly.
So the idea that another person can tell me when I can go on vacation
Yeah.
or spend time or do this or do that, and I'm spending all of my time and I'm investing all of this effort into someone else's creation or someone else's dream, it's just like, I might as well give it a shot on my own.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. That's how it. I mean, and I noticed that everybody's not like that. Everybody just rather just not deal with the stresses of 1 minute you're high, the next minute you're low.
It's very stressful.
Most people don't want to deal with that, or just trying to figure out how to even just start. But it takes a lot of courage. It really does take a lot of courage to just step aside and just commit to it 100%. Because most people would start, but when it comes to that committing, and actually, like you said, like the high and just low, and oh my God, it's a lot.
It was like a quote or it was a meme or something where it went, I'm working 24/7 to avoid working 9 to 5.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't realize it because you're enjoying it. Like, it's, even with the lows, it's just, thank God I went through it, because you're learning, through the process. But like, I definitely, it's just
The YouTube thing though. What was the process behind that, like building up the subscribers, building up the followers, that whole process? How's that been? And like, if someone else was coming into that same space, what advice would you give them?
Okay. Definitely be true to yourself, be true to your brand. Don't try to be anything other than yourself, and be passionate about the content that you're putting out. Because if not, and you just going to YouTube for money, then it's not going to work. Like, YouTube doesn't really, it's great if you're trying to build a brand, or if you're trying to put yourself out there. YouTube is a great platform for that. But as far as like the subscribers and building the subscribers up, You got to keep on being consistent with the content, put out content that's great, pay attention to other YouTubers, see what they're doing, learn from them, learn from their mistakes, and just take a little bit from everyone that you follow on YouTube and make it your own. That's just pretty much what I say. And another thing is like integrity and being genuine is so important, because people can see straight through that, and people just don't trust anyone who isn't 100%, I guess, for not only for their brand but also for the subscribers as well.
I got you.
So the platform, the numbers, when it came to YouTube, it started from the fact that we already had a following on Instagram. People started to come over from Instagram to YouTube. So I guess if you already have a platform, or either like if it's TikTok, whatever it is, you can integrate the two and just help to build your audience.
Porting people over.
Yeah, because it helps to put you in favor of the YouTube algorithm, and the higher your video is, the more YouTube will push your videos. And at this point, it's not really subscribers, it's more so the algorithm making sure that, hey, this is a favorable video, people are really watching this, and then they put you up further up in the algorithm. So that's just really more so what it's about, is making sure that you're true to yourself, take a little bit from everybody, build your own brand from everybody that you follow, and just be true to your brand and be consistent. It's going to be hard, because it took I think a full year before we start to see the subscribers start to go up. I think after 1 year we were at 10K again, because we already had the platform. But with other people, I say don't measure your subscribers to somebody else's. Like my 10K could be 500 for somebody, depending on the numbers doesn't, like the amount of numbers, I guess the larger quantity of numbers really shouldn't matter. It's just more so saying it's more so seeing the progression. You started from 1 and now you're at 25. That's awesome.
And it's like how hardcore your following is, because if you have like 100,000 followers that like are kind of rock with you, but they're not really that into you,
right,
that's one thing. But if you have 10,000 followers and they'll buy anything you put out and they support and so on and so forth, that's way more valuable.
Yeah, way more valuable.
All right. So I know you got to go. I had a couple other things, but I think I was just going to ramble for a bit. This was just kind of fun for me. Thanks for coming on. Really quick, I want to thank our sponsors, Blue Microphone, Senstroke, Catalyst Case, and Wildhorn Outfitters. Thanks so much for coming out to hang out with me, Mag.
I appreciate it, Reg.
And thanks, guys, for watching and listening. This has been Thought Hack.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to Thought Hack.